All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mack, Play Fast Football. Today we're going to talk a little bit about 2x2 versus 2x1. All right, run game, tempo, what the difference is, what I think the difference is, why I always kind of navigate it my way more towards 2x1. All right, but also, you know, the success and the things you can do controlling the box in 2x2. Make sure you check out some of our partners, GameStrat sideline replay system we use at Bishop Kenny High School. I've used them for the last 5 or 6 years. If you're looking for highly reliable, highly affordable, make sure you check out GameStrat. Dome hats, the headwear company we use at Bishop Kenny High School. I use them with Play Fast Football as well. If you want completely customizable hats that you can build, or you can have them build one for you, all right, make sure you check out Dome. Stock hats suck. Baker Sporting Goods, a company we use for coaches gear, shirts like this, my shorts that I'm wearing today, coaches gear for practice, coaches gear for the sideline, our Friday night gear that we wear. Uniforms are distributed from them. They're in the shoulder pad world now with Pro Gear, and they are also doing some things with fans, coaches, players. It's your one-stop shop for everything you need. Make sure you check out GameStrat. Just Play Football, the playbook software we use here at Bishop Kenny High School. We use it for our installs, our meetings. A lot of our presentations are done in their presentation mode, so team meetings, offense, defense, special teams, installs, clips, you know, game plans, everything we're doing, we do through JustPlay. It's the best play drawing tool on the market. And then DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. Set them up in your weight room. They go on the racks that you currently have. Don't need to worry about teaching a player to hold a bag, provide resistance, do whatever it is, all right, that you need when you are working with another human being. Holding a shield, now it's just you. DifferenceUSA ultimate striking machine. Thousands of reps. If you want to strike violently, you've got to practice striking violently. Eliminate the human element. You, DifferenceUSA machine, get after it in season, off season, all year round. All right, so you know, when I was calling offenses and as a tempo guy, the thing I loved about 2x2 sets was it made it kind of clean to figure out the boxes you were going to get and the looks you were going to get, right? So, you know, 2x2 is pretty balanced. There's not a lot of disguise on the defensive side. 3x1 is unbalanced, but at the same time, I think there's more things the defense can do in coverage. There's a little bit more disguise. 2x2 is kind of balanced. You're high safeties, you either have to show your spin or you have to show where you're rolling, or if you're going to load the box, then you're showing that you're playing some type of man, depending on the numbers. So I always like 2x2, even though it was balanced to the defense, and you would think, all right, well, that's easy for us to line up to. That balance made it a lot easier to call your runs, see your numbers, and play with great tempo, right? But the thing that you've got to keep in mind in 2x2 is, yes, we might be able to remove, if teams want to play with a 4-2 box, a 6-man box, right? Even if it's a 3-3 stack, if they want to play with a 6-man box, it's easier for us to remove the overhangs, right? So we can tag, you know, screens, whether they be post-snap, pre-snap, decide type screens. You can tag screens or access throws to both sides so that you can control the outside part of the picture, right? So if you've got, you know, tag to every run, if you've got some type of bubble deal going on out here, all right, and then on this side, you could do it either way you want it to. You could go bubble both sides, right, and this could be like a decide system where you're telling the quarterback to decide pre-snap. Does he like the numbers to the screen game? Does he like the leverage, or he stays with the run game, right? Well, inside the box, let's just say you had like a dart scheme, right, where you were going to run an isolation scheme, you were going to try and get a double team, you were going to pull, all right, and you were going to read 5 technique. Okay, even though the box is real clean, what you really don't know is if you're going to get scrape exchange. You have to assume, at least to the B gap side, don't know if you'll get it to the open A gap side, but you have to assume that you're going to get scrape exchange. And what ends up happening is, because you don't have that extra blocker in the box, now if they go hard chase and make the quarterback pull, if they veer read the inside linebacker to where when he gets the inside release from a tackle, he's reading the same thing as the end, so now they can go scrape over the top, and now they have a quarterback player, they have a chase player, and if they played the screens with leverage, let's say maybe it was Ripley's match, or maybe the safety outside the Sam could match 2 to the flat, you could still get a chance to push crack them and leave the corner alone, right? But now they've got a player to chase runs, they've got a player to play over the top for the quarterback. So if you wanted to carry the same type systems and still be able to get after it the way you want to get after it in the run game to control the box, you could use less read game and more flash theories, where now at the flash theory, we're just going to send the back across to kind of seal, all right, for the puller. So now when they try to scrape exchange, you're going to block the guy that is the chase player, right? So now I can control the box the same way, except that's going to make the quarterback, all right, the dart runner. So you have to live in a world where your quarterback is also a runner, right? So anytime you want to run some type of read scheme, if they are a scrape exchange team, it's very hard for you to handle the exchange player if they chase, all right, if they chase that hard. Even if you were just running simple inside zone stuff, all right, even if you were running simple inside zone stuff, it's the same thing, the same theory. You've got 5 blockers, they've got 6 in the box, you're going to have to read one. Okay, so if you went to where you were running inside zone and you were getting that doubled, you were doubling that and working up to that, you'd still be reading off the 5 technique, and you're hoping with an open A gap that he can't get there. If your aiming point is opposite A gap there, you're hoping that he can't squeeze that down as far and chase it. But if that's their theory, that they are a chase scrape team, all right, you are going to have a hard time getting to that other linebacker within those schemes. All right, so even if you wanted to run GT, right, you could run GT as a read theory. All right, and you could go back on the 3, and you could go down there and work the double through to the mic, and now you could go kick, wrap. All right, the issue that you're going to have is, can they chase off the veer release? Can they chase the GT play down? And then even if the quarterback was a pull player, I never really liked back blocking a 3 to a side that the quarterback was going to pull, okay, because you have the potential of possibly blocking a 3 back and helping him possibly make plays on the quarterback, right? So one of the ways to alleviate all that is to use the tailback as a blocker and go with quarterback runs, which the problem is not everybody, all right, has the luxury to do that. So not everybody has the luxury to become quarterback run teams, right? So you could do all the same things. You could run ISO theories with a lead blocker, and now you got quarterback ISO, which is very similar to the dart play. You're just using the quarterback to run the ISO. And now what you're doing is you're controlling the perimeter. You're playing at a really fast tempo with very simple runs that you carry all the time. All right, if you wanted to carry quarterback GT, I would do the same thing. I would just flash it. I would put the back on the other side, all right, and I would just flash it and say, all right, look, we're going to go back there. We're going to double and work through that there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go pull, kick, wrap, but we're going to flash the back to try and get a piece of the chase play, right? So now you're using the quarterback as a runner. But even within all those schemes, you have access to side screens, things that you can do to the perimeter, all right, that kind of makes it a little bit tougher on the defense, understanding that if we want to keep that clean 6-man box, we have very limited ways that we can support things on the outside, all right? If you're going to see, a lot of times, if you're going to see too high stuff, right, you're going to end up seeing that 5-man box, and then the 6th and the 7th are going to be added. So now you're going to see more of that 5-man box, right? So you'll see more of that look with the mic in there, a Will out, a Sam out, a free safety, weak safety, however you want to look at it. So now you're looking at that and going, all right, I really like all my run issues or all my run schemes to the 5-man box, okay? But now you've got to understand how to control the overhang, because the overhangs are going to be extra fitters in too high. So it's going to get to a 6 to 7-man box. And that's why teams like too high better, is because that can get to a 7-man box, whereas the 4-2, 3-3 box is very hard to get to a 7-man box. All right, so when you're 2x2, depending on the scheme, if a team is a 1-high team or a team is somebody that wants to play a 4-2 box, 2x2 going really fast, you know you can control the box looks, right? And it's a way for you to kind of play with tempo, control the box looks for your team, make sure your quarterback always gets the looks he wants within the box, make sure your linemen have the box that they want, right? So you're always finding a way to control the box, and now we're going to try and control the extra players with the screen game, or we're going to try and control the extra players with access throws so that we can attack the box. Now, one of the things I always liked doing, because I didn't think, depending on the teams we were playing within their structure, I always liked adding another helmet to the box, okay, to see what the defense was going to do, because most times if you added another helmet to the box and they were a 4-2, 1 high team, or they were a 3-3 stack team, all right, the weak side guy would be a player who would get maybe tighter to the box, okay, and they were either going to be somebody who decided, like a lot of 3-3 stack teams would send that weak guy off the edge when they got a single. If you went 2-by-1, they'd send a weak guy. Well, now you're getting your matchup out here that you want. Okay, if they don't send him, they're going to leave him somewhere down in a sky position. So I don't think the front side, I think I get all the same theories I want in my access, all right, and my key screen game. I feel like I can play at a really fast tempo, but what I feel like I've added is the ability to block scrape exchange now, right? So I feel like I've added the ability to block scrape exchange. Okay, now, if they want to go to a 4-3 box and outnumber us in the box, well, now we've got to have built in our system a way that we can get the ball back to the single away from, all right, the heavy box, right? That's the chess match. That's what everybody's playing. So for me, I always felt like the 2-by-2 picture, all right, and the 2-by-1 picture to the front side of the picture, depending on the structure of the defense, I felt like that those were always very similar pictures. All right, I felt like if it was a 8-man front, 4-2 box team, even when we went 2-back, it stayed 8-man front, it stayed 1 high, and the box didn't change, just the backside might have condensed a little bit. All right, there aren't a lot of teams you play if you can throw it a little bit and you've got some decent wideouts. All right, there aren't a lot of teams you play that are going to go ahead and say, look, we're going to make this, all right, kind of more of a, what I would think is more of an NFL theory where, you know, now it's, hey, we're going to play this more as a loaded box. Now you've got to play man-free, something else, right, if you want to really load that box. But now you're creating numbers that they can't run the ball into. Okay, so for me, when the structure was the same, the first thing I would always identify is I would say, all right, look, if I want to attack somebody in 2-by-2, okay, if this is the structure in 2-by-2, all right, if it's Ripley's match or it's some type of 3 deep, 1 high, if that's the structure in 2-by-2, the first thing I always ask myself, okay, if I removed that player and brought him back in here, and I know in that diagram I still had the fullback drawn up, I know that you can't play with 12 players on the field, just follow the video and how it flows along. If I was 2-by-2 and that was my thought process, and then I was starting to struggle with scrape exchange, my first thought would always be, if I put that guy back in the backfield, wherever I put him, all right, whether I put him in on the weak side, the strong side, whether I go split backs, what does the box do? How much does the box change? All right, what do they do with the backside overhang? What do they do with the front side? If the box doesn't change all that much, okay, then I would always rather push to a 2-back design, because now within the 2-back design, now I feel like I can carry all the same game plans and I can handle scrape exchange. Right? So that's one of the deals that you have to understand how you're trying to block certain things. When you're in 2-by-2, it's very hard. If you involve the tailback in the run scheme, anybody that squeeze scrapes, it's going to be very hard to block those players. So you're either going to have to RPO the squeeze scrape player. All right? So you're either going to have to try and find a way to get routes back under the guy that's scraping over the top. Well, that's tough to do because if he's scraping over the top, he's getting back into the window of some of those throws. Okay? So for me, the first thing I always did was, if the front side of 2-by-2 and 2-by-1 looks exactly the same, and we can carry all the exact same theories, how much is this team going to change if I bring the back into the backfield? All right? Again, whether it's weak, strong, doesn't really matter. If I bring the back into the backfield, how much are they going to change what they do on defense? Because now, if I can get similar boxes, now on all the plays that I liked before, right? So now if you went with a zone theory, now you can bluff the backside and you can block a scrape player. Right? So now you can go zone there, bluff the backside, you can block a scrape player. Now if they want to try and scrape exchange some things, you might be able to affect the run fit if you kick the backside. And say, all right, look, they're going to try and scrape exchange, but when they go to exchange to Mike, if he can't wrong arm and we get him kicked, the Mike's running himself out of a deal, all right, where you now understand if the Mike runs himself out, all right, that's a deal where you can run the ball back inside. I always felt like in that theory you could lock the front side and read the Mike. right? So like if you had the back set over here, I could go zone theories here, lock this side with the 3 and the 5, run inside zone, block the perimeter, put the back out in the flat, okay, and now work the ball out to the back in the flat based off what the scrape exchange player does. So if he's taught that he gets a base block on the backside, he fits the A gap, well, now you just use the blocking scheme against him. If he's taught that he gets scrape exchange and he's going to go over the top, well, now you've got to have a body to handle him on the scrape exchange. So one of the things I would always do from 2x2 is if I like the world in 2x2 and I like the box and I wanted to push the tempo in that, I would do that until I felt like their scrape exchange or their rules were too much in the box for us to handle. So I would then go to 2x1 because I think the scenario, when you look at where the ball is and formationally, I think I'm giving one side to me on offense that's the exact same. So all the theories I wanted to carry with nows, bubbles, RPOs, access, they're all there to that side. The thing that's changed is the single side picture and what's the dynamic of the overhang. So when you go to, when you go to some type of set like that, what's the dynamic of the overhang? Do they become more of a team? All right, maybe they become more of a 2-eye team. The Sam gets tighter to the box with the free safety there. And if you're set with the Y strong, now they become a poach team over there. So now maybe they get heavier numbers in the box in the run game, but again, you're now getting a one-on-one matchup to the backside. So as a tempo team, if you like 2x2, okay, and you like running things out of 2x2, I also suggest, and most people do it anyways, it's not like it's anything new, all right, but if you like ripping tempo in 2x2, and you like the fact that it's balanced, and I've got dart scheme both ways, I've got zone read both ways, I've got GT counter both ways, but you're trying to figure out a way to handle the scrape player, all right, one thing you need to look at is if you put another back in the backfield, how much does that change the picture? How much does that change the dynamic of what the defense is trying to do? Because if it doesn't change the theory of what they're trying to do all that much, then why not use that other player where you can block scrape exchange stuff, okay? You can block the way, you know, that they want to play some of your read game. You still have your RPOs, you still have your quarterback runs, all right? You still have gap schemes, you have isolation, you have everything that you would want. But now you have a way to block the overhang. If putting that helmet in the backfield completely changes the box, well then now you may want to go back to your 2x2 world to say, hey, that's the box I want. That's the box I want to get after. Don't put another body in there because it changes the box. Okay, but the first thing I would take a look at is, hey, 2x1, 2x2, how much does the dynamic of the box change? How much different is the box when I go 2x1, 2x2? If it's similar, well then let's go into 2x1 world. If it changes it completely, well, let's go back to the 2x2 world, all right, and let's go to a box that we like a little bit more and things that we can control a little bit better in the 2x2 world. All right, so if you're a tempo team, make sure those are the things that you are looking at. As always, I appreciate you guys being subscribers to the channel. Turn your notifications on so you know every time we do a video. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments. I'll get back to every comment I can see on my end. Appreciate everything you do for Play Fast. Remember, you won't play well till you play fast. Thanks for watching. See you next time.